Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Cigar Chat.
My name's Sal.
And I'm Arnold. And tonight we're going to talk about the
New Jersey mob.
The New Jersey mob, the DeCavalcante family, which obviously I'm a Jersey guy, so this is a lot of fun.
This is a neighborhood you're from.
That's right. I mean, they originally started out in obviously northern New Jersey, which is where I'm from. Particularly though, they started out in Elizabeth and in Newark, which are two neighboring towns right by the airport. Anybody who's been to Jersey knows that that's like right by the airport. But of course, that whole northern New Jersey area, they were
was it amazing?
Prevalent.
Mainly in Elizabeth.
Yeah, mainly in Elizabeth and Newark.
And Newark.
Newark had a huge Italian
and surrounding areas, right? Yeah.
They had a huge Italian community, and one of the best bakeries in all of New Jersey is there, which is called Calandra's. And they used to actually, Calandra's used to cater a lot of the pastries and desserts and stuff like that, and food, actual food for the Sopranos when they were being filmed on location.
Has your family ever went to that restaurant?
Oh yeah, Calandra's is
really?
It's really famous, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Well, actually, a good another good place which I'm going to make honorable mention of is Natoli's Deli, and that's in Secaucus. And that's a great place, not only for many reasons, but Steve Natoli, the owner, is married to my cousin. And I haven't seen Steve in a long time, but he's a great guy. Just runs a great little deli there, makes all sorts of Italian food, heroes, pizza. He's been there an awful long time.
And the people don't know who Secaucus is. That's in New Jersey.
Yeah, Secaucus is in the Meadowlands. I was born in Secaucus, so I'm a Secaucus guy. Union City raised, Secaucus born.
I'm a Brooklyn guy. I'm just here with
But
him.
you're over here on this side now. You're over here now.
I'm on this side now.
He's on the other side of the Hudson River here.
I'm the Brooklyn guy.
At least for tonight.
Jersey guy.
At least for tonight.
Just for tonight. I'm a Jersey guy tonight.
But anyway, just to give you guys some history on the DeCavalcante family. Like I said, it was started mainly in Newark and in Elizabeth. They always maintained strong relations with the 5 families in New York. And they were founded by a guy named Stefano Badami back in the early 1900s. But the actual name itself of the DeCavalcante, it comes, or it was named after Sam the plumber. So, Sam the plumber DeCavalcante, who took over the family in 1964.
Claimed he was an Italian royal, a.k.a. nicknamed the Count.
Yeah, they used to call him the
plumber.
Count. They used to call him the Count or the plumber. He had several nicknames. Mm-hmm. Now, what's interesting about him is he was involved in a lot of different rackets out there in Jersey. He was
gambling,
loan
sharking,
labor racketeering, which is a big one because all the government or the union contracts in Jersey. So
he had family ties with the Bananos, didn't he?
Yeah, they were tight with those guys.
Yeah,
they were really tight with them. The FBI actually tried to get him back in the '60s during the Valachi investigations, and that's when Joe Valachi became a rat. Yeah, but nothing ever really came of that. Eventually, they did get him for, I think it was extortion, and I think that was back in '69. And Sam the plumber actually went to jail, but they released him back in like 1975. And then a couple years later, he moved to Florida. So that's our Florida connection. He ended up going to Miami Beach. And interestingly enough, he was going to come down here and open up a hotel casino. But the licenses, for casinos never happened during that time in Florida. Obviously, we still don't have real casinos, but we got like the Hard Rock.
But that's owned by Indians.
But it's on Indian land, so that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's a different thing.
So like the mob never really got that action down here in Florida.
The more the Indians got, because it was Indian land too.
Exactly.
That's why.
But he ended up coming to Miami Beach, and that's where he ultimately passed away. Interesting note here too. The Sopranos, my favorite show, your favorite show,
yep, was
also loosely based on the DeCavalcante family, and obviously it was filmed in New Jersey. And Tony Soprano was the boss, and
I like those. I still watch them.
We were watching it today here in the shop.
Season 1 all the way again. I can keep watching it.
I think those early episodes were like some of the best.
They were the best ones. Yeah.
Gandolfini was like one of the best actors ever. I
don't think they could replace him and restart the Sopranos again.
They can't. And what's funny is a lot of those guys.
The only one I could say that might be able to take over for him is the one from the old Gotti. The old Gotti.
Armand Desant?
Yeah. He was a good actor.
He was sheer talent. He's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Amazing actor. I didn't like the new Gotti though with Travolta and stuff.
Nah, I didn't care for it. Travolta just ruined it, I think.
And what's funny is the Cavalcante families were also, in the 90s, there were, before the whole John Gotti thing, they were pretty tight with Gotti too. Because there was another guy who became acting boss later, which I was going to mention. His name is Vinny Ocean, Palermo. And Vinny Ocean is kind of like the Tony Soprano character. But anyway, Vinny Ocean, the Gambino family, a.k.a. Gotti, he needed to do a hit on somebody in New York. So he had Vinny Ocean, go do the hit.
Do the hit.
Now, the funny thing about
that thing was sold for $1? Was that the hit sold for?
The thing that sold for $1? No, that's something else. We're going to cover that in a minute.
Sorry. Yep.
But let me just say this. What's funny about Vinny Ocean is in The Sopranos, you know how Tony Soprano has a strip joint?
Yeah.
Okay, so did Vinny Ocean.
Bada bing.
Right. Well, Vinny Ocean's strip joint in Queens was named Wiggles.
Yep, Wiggles.
Yeah. So I think that's like the funny connection there. And
that's funny.
How they did several things.
Wiggles from Bada Bing. But Bada Bing was a better name, I think.
Bada Bing was actually out there in Jersey. God, what the heck was the name of the Bada Bing club? Satin Dolls. It's called Satin Dolls.
Satin Dolls, huh?
And it was still there. I mean, as far as I remember, it's still there too.
Wow.
Yeah, Satin Dolls. But anyway, so, you know, they took a lot of stuff, I think, from the factual information, and then that's how they were able to make the show. Tony Soprano character and everything else. But anyway, so after Sam the Plumber moved to Miami, this guy named John Riggy, the Eagle, his name was the Eagle.
The Eagle.
He was the one that took over the family. And eventually he ended up going to jail too. So they just went through a lot of different, I don't know, I guess a string of bad luck over there in Jersey. A lot of these guys ended up going to jail. Some became government informants. And little by little, the family kind of lost power. And then John Gotti and the other families in New York, they recognized that they were losing a lot of power, that the DeCavalcante family was losing power.
Right.
So they kind of went into Jersey, and they started picking up a lot of the rackets. And even though the DeCavalcante family is still active in Jersey today, it doesn't have the muscle or the power that it used to have.
No. It's sad.
Yeah, well,
it's sad. Well, the people that took them down, the rats and inside rats and stuff like that.
I mean, I feel like all of our stories are always the same because they kind of end up the same way.
Well, it's the same. A family, any family is the same. Pretty much goes through these things. You know what I mean?
But yeah, that's just the way it goes.
You don't know people, and you bring them in, and they rat on you.
That's right. Now, here's just a funny few tidbits of stuff, right? One of the soldiers in the Cavalcanti family was a guy named Carl Corsentino. He was a soldier in the family, okay? Now, you know what he did, right?
He owned funeral homes.
He owned funeral parlors. Now, he was the creator of this famous Jersey method, which I like to refer to as, like I said, the Jersey method. And it was called the double-decker coffins. You know what that is?
Yeah, they put an 80-pound woman in there, and they freaking weigh like a ton.
What they do is they create a secret compartment in the coffin. And then back in the day, whenever they had to dispose of a body that got whacked, they would go ahead and put that body in with the person that was actually that died, that like legitimately died, and they had to bury that person.
Think about it. It was smart.
It was smart. They got rid of a lot of bodies that way.
That was smart.
Like nobody knew about it. Years later, you know, the comments and double deckers and everything else. But the funny thing, the joke is, sometimes, people would go to their grandmother's funeral, and like grandma was only 80 pounds, and the pallbearers are carrying this coffin. And it weighed a freaking ton.
They just were like, probably
like, my God, what the
hell?
Buying
quality.
What the hell happened to grandma? I mean, did she get like all this water weight or something, or is it a brass coffin or some shit?
It's quality.
It was just a funny thing. So obviously that happened quite a few times. That was started like in the 20s and 30s in Jersey. And like I said earlier, in the 90s, Vinny Ocean, a.k.a. Vinny Ocean, Vinny Palermo.
He became the acting boss.
Yep, he was underboss, and then he became acting boss.
But he became government witness in 1999.
Right, exactly.
And Johnny Boy Diamante, also acting boss.
Mm-hmm. Well, he became Johnny Boy Diamato was acting boss before Vinny Ocean, but unfortunately there was rumors that he was gay. And he was a captain in the family.
Just going by what the Sopranos movie.
And he got taken out too. He got whacked.
Right.
Nobody knows who whacked him, but sources say that it was within because of the whole thing with
he was a captain
him being gay, right? And that's like you said, that's where Vito Spatafore in the Sopranos, where they got that inspiration for that character.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, you know, it was an insult for these guys to have, you know, a gay family member, obviously.
Supposedly.
In the whole gay, or the whole mafia thing, you know.
Yeah, it's supposedly that was...
So anyway, so the family still operates, but like I said, at a much smaller scale these days. I think like back in 2004, they had said maybe supposedly they had like less than 100 members. Who knows? I mean, I know that they're still out there in Jersey doing a lot of different rackets and stuff like that. But let's face it, the federal government has come down hard on mob-related activity, and I mean, Jersey was like the epicenter of like.
They need to leave them alone.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Neighborhoods were good.
I mean, I'll tell you, in Union City, we had mob activity there. We had all over Hudson County. I mean, I was born in Hoboken, or I'm sorry, I was born in Secaucus, and that whole area there's just
just like even back
mob.
in Brooklyn, bro. I know this is a Jersey thing right now, but the neighborhoods were good back then. They were safe.
They were safe. The mob. I'll tell you a story. I remember back in like '86.
Oh, you looking in that window again?
Who's that guy? Who's that? Who's that?
Who's that guy?
In '86, I remember they stole my dad's car. He had bought a brand new car. I'll never forget. It was a Chevy Blazer, and I don't know if you guys remember, but up north, if you had a car, you had to go outside, turn it on, let it warm up, let the heater get warm, and then after a few minutes, then you left. That's just typical up there. Well, anyway, he goes outside, turns the car on, so it could warm up, and a few minutes later, he comes back outside. The car's gone. Yep. He's like, "Oh my God, what the hell happened to my car? Somebody stole my freaking car."
Yeah.
So he went down to the Warriors Club, which is the little club I told you guys about in the former episode. Yeah, it was a little Italian social club right on my street on 42nd Street, almost at Park Avenue. And I used to be, always as a little kid, I would hang out there and see what the old guys were doing, and it was always cool. They were playing cards and talking and having espresso, and which, by the way,
who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Let's have an espresso, Sal. I think I'm gonna have a little cup of espresso right now while I tell the story. Salute.
Salute.
Gin Don, baby. And there's one thing that always brings the Italians and the Cubans together is their coffee.
Exactly.
I'll tell you a funny story about that later on, but
this is a good coffee.
The best. Anyway, make a long story short.
It's a good espresso.
Thank you. He goes out. The car's not there. He says, "What the hell's going on with the car?" So in that neighborhood, everybody knew each other. Everybody was tight. He walks down to the corner where the little grocery store bodega was or whatever. And right next door was the Warriors Club. So as he's walking, Vinny and Joe, he said, "Hey, Raymond." They call him Raymond. "Hey, Raymond, listen, we saw this guy driving around with your car this morning. We didn't know what the hell was going on, And my father said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Yeah, we thought you loaned him the car, My dad's like, "I didn't loan that guy the car." And what it was this guy who everybody kind of knew him in the neighborhood, whatever. He was like a local hoodlum, delinquent or whatever. And he took the car for a joyride. We found out later he took the car over to the Bronx, sold it for $500 and some bottle of booze. And this brand new Chevy Blazer got totally, what's the word I'm looking for?
He took it to a chop shop.
He took it to a chop shop, so he chopped it. And, then my dad had to get the insurance money, then he bought another car. But anyway.
I bet you those guys found out who it was.
Oh, yeah. Well, Vinny and Joe, they knew. They told him who was. The guy got arrested later on some other charge because he was a local delinquent.
He was a delinquent.
He was just a hoodlum. But anyway, Dad was kind of bummed out, so, then he went and got another car. But he really liked that Blazer. I always remember.
Sad.
That's we only had the Blazer for 2 weeks.
Model.
So what the hell are you going to do? But anyway, other funny things in Jersey, which aren't connected to the whole, DeCavalcante family, but they're just, Jersey mob tidbits. You got stuff like Frank Sinatra. I mean, he was born in Hoboken, right next door to me, in Union City.
He's a good singer.
Hoboken, yeah. I mean, Hudson County.
Do you listen to him?
Love him.
I love
him. And Dean Martin.
Dean Martin, forget about it.
And Tony Bennett. I mean,
they're
like some of the best.
The best.
They're some of the best ever. But anyway, so back in '42, he wanted to leave the Tommy Dorsey band because he was a member. He'd become a member of the Tommy Dorsey band. And anyway, Hollywood was knocking on his door saying, "Hey, we want you to do some movies, and this and that." But Dorsey refused to let him out of the contract.
Yeah, held him back.
So now, what people didn't know is that Frank was a pretty connected guy himself, and he went over to talk to a guy named.
He used to do all the weddings and stuff for certain mob families.
He used to play in a place in Hoboken called the Clam Broth House, which is where people say he got to start. And that's no longer around, but that place was there. It was iconic for many, many years. But anyway, he reached out to his godfather, who was a guy named Willie Moretti. And Willie Moretti was a underboss in the Genovese family. So needless to say, Moretti went over there to see Tommy Dorsey, and he made him an offer.
He couldn't refuse.
He couldn't refuse, like The Godfather, like in The Godfather movie. So I think that's kind
of
of
where The Godfather got that saying.
I think that's where they got the inspiration for that too. But anyway, so the story is he put a gun down this guy's throat.
Like this, in a mouth.
Ah.
Get a bath.
Boy, that made my jaw hurt. Anyway.
Imagine a real one.
He jammed a gun down this guy's throat. And I think it was the following day. Dorsey said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and release the contract to you for the price of?
$1.
$1.
$1.
So that's the Jersey Sinatra story. Now, you know, I'll tell you another funny story, which is kind of connected to Jersey, Cuba, a whole bit. It was Lucky Luciano goes down to Havana after the U.S. government. We should save that for another episode.
Should.
We'll save it for another episode. But anyway, Sinatra flew down to hang out with Luciano, and they had this huge party at the National Hotel Nacional in Havana, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it was a big blowout.
But we'll save that for another episode. But just to, you know, it's just funny that, you know, Sinatra was involved in a lot of these.
Yeah, he was.
Involved with a lot of guys, and he knew a lot of people. And
he was very respected.
He was very respected. His favorite place in New York City to eat was a place named Patsy's.
Yeah, Patsy's.
Yeah, and Patsy's is actually still there. And Sinatra said it was the best Italian food in all of the city. He made the place pretty famous. It was like in Midtown.
Yeah,
I think it was 57th, I think it was, in Midtown. Excuse me.
All these places they should have kept for museums and stuff. You know
yeah, what are you going to do?
Would have been nice.
But, you know, I mean, people are fascinated with the whole mob thing, but I don't know.
It's history.
It's history. But a lot of times, a lot of these people, they didn't know how popular it was going to be and stuff. You know?
I guess not, but it's history, man. I love this stuff.
Anyway, 1951, Willie Moretti gets whacked in Cliffside Park. And I have family that lives in Cliffside Park, so that's pretty funny. Which is also right there. And that's Bergen County, but it's right on the border of Bergen and, you know, Hudson, which is where I'm from, obviously. Another notable that I want to make a mention about is Tony Pro. Tony Pro Provenzano. Now, Tony Pro, he used to run the local 560 of the Teamsters in Union City, in my hometown.
Union.
Yeah, Union City. He was a pretty interesting character himself. Controversial at times. But anyway, him and Jimmy Hoffa did not like each other. So legend has it that Tony Pro was probably involved in the disappearance.
That was in the Irishman. If you guys seen the Irishman movie,
exactly.
They gave that play in there.
That was in the Irishman movie, and they talk about Sally Bugs.
Yeah, Sally Bugs.
DeBuglio, I think was his name. So he was also involved in it. Nobody's ever really been able to figure it out, how the whole thing went down. But some people always used to joke about it, that, you know, Hoffa was buried in Giant Stadium.
Yeah.
You know, 50-yard line or something. Who the hell knows?
Who knows? Nobody knows.
Some people say that he got chopped up and he got disposed of in upstate New York. They put him in one of those tree grinders or whatever.
Yeah. Who knows?
So we really don't know what the hell happened to Jimmy Hoffa.
He's never been found.
No. And there's nothing that you can do about it.
Rest in pieces.
In pieces.
That's where he was. Rest in pieces. They put him in pieces.
But chances are one day somebody will talk and we'll have better information. Or maybe with all this DNA stuff that they do now.
I think they had enough rats out there. They don't need nobody ratting.
But anyway, needless to say, obviously I'm a Jersey guy. I'm passionate about the whole Jersey thing, the mafia, the Jersey stories.
We do this for, we love the history of the mob.
We love the history. Is there anything you want to add about this?
No, I love it. I love talking about it. It's great.
And you know something? We've had a really long day today.
Yep.
A lot of folks came through the shop. I think I'm going to go to Angelo's and get a slice of pizza. How about you?
Let's do it.
With that being said, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed our Jersey stories. But you know what? One final thing we're going to do is we're going to fire up a cigar. And what are we going to do tonight, Sal?
This is the Serafin Barber Pole.
This is a Toro size. And it is our barber pole. 2 wrappers. Which is actually, here's the cutter.
Thank you.
It's a very enjoyable smoke. I like to smoke a lot. I find it to be pretty mild.
Yep, mild.
I'm going to fire it up so you guys can see.
Good torch. That's a good torch.
I just did my little, I used my little Fuente lighter.
Oh, okay.
Just because sometimes I like to do a little bit of a flame. I just think it's cool.
It's a beautiful thing. It's nice and mild. I like it.
They blow a lot of smoke, don't they?
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's good.
They have a lot of flavor.
Good burner to them too.
We wanted to do the Jersey story for a while now. Hadn't had time really. You've been doing a lot of home projects and stuff like that, and I have too. I've been kind of busy around the shop, you know, and working on Dad's Cigar, which hopefully will be coming out soon, guys. So stay tuned for that one.
Stay tuned for that. Really good cigar. I was honored to have the chance to try it. Forget it, you guys won't be disappointed. Come to Serafin DeCavalcante Cigars here in Tarpon Springs, Florida. Get the best cigars on the market. Forget about it. And we'll make you an offer
you can't understand.
You can't refuse.
This one has a really quirky label that I did a few years ago. It says Tobacco Serafin, which was my grandfather's label back in the day. And I just kind of picked these colors, which is like, I don't know how the hell to describe it. It's kind of like a light peach color. And,
yeah, it's good. I like the labeling. It's very good.
I really just wanted to keep them simple, but I think they look nice.
Let people know. How many generations is this cigar business?
Well, I'm the 4th. My son is the 5th.
Yep.
And we've been doing this a long time. And, you know, obviously there was an interruption there because of the whole Cuba thing with the Castro government and everything else. But I'm very fortunate that my father was able to, for the last 15 years, basically, he was able to come back in and help me out. And I have no words to express how grateful I am of what my father did for me and helping me kind of get this back, you know, going again. And
he built you. He built this.
He sure did. And you know what? He was so happy doing this day in and day out, talking to our customers, just being here, talking to people.
His father was well known here. Well known. They knew him. They used to come and see him all the time. He was another one that liked history and told everybody about the old country.
Oh my God.
Where they come from and where the cigars and where the leaves come from. It was every time the guy he sat here, he talked to you, he got chills. I don't know. He was good. He knew his stuff.
He was good, wasn't he?
Well, he lived it. That's the thing. Nobody understands. He lived it over there in Cuba. You understand?
And you know what? He really enjoyed.
I think a lot of people that live here take things for granted around.
We do. We take our freedom for granted.
Nobody knows what freedom is.
Freedom is not free.
Until they go to that country and live there, they'll see.
He took me down there, and I tell you, the stuff I saw, beautiful country and everything, but boy, I tell you, what a messed up political situation they got down there, you know?
We got it made here.
We do. So what do you think about the cigar? I mean, how would you, how would you rate it?
It's really good. It burns well. It has a good taste. It's awesome.
It's burning nice already.
I love it. I love it. And even good and even better when you have it with your espresso.
Absolutely. You know what? Let me take a little sip of mine, too.
That was good. All right. That was the last drop. That is good.
Well, anyway, everybody, I just want to say thanks for tuning in. And like we always say, I just really enjoy doing these videos. I mean, there's so much more information that we can cover on many other families, which we probably will get to eventually.
We'll get to eventually.
But, you know, we don't want to make these things too monotonous. We want to keep them entertaining and fun.
We don't want to make you bored of them, you know.
I hope you guys really enjoy them. I mean, we're having a ball doing them.
Don't forget to like, subscribe. We'll make you an offer you can't refuse.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Stay tuned for our next episode.